Welcome back to the United Airlines pregame show.
We look live at Arizona. No Randy Johnson tonight, but Arizona does have history on its side. The winner of Game 1 of the NLCS has advanced to the World Series each of the last 8 seasons. Oh, ye of little Miguel Batista faith. It is all relative, as in the theory of relativity. Batista, the Albert Einstein disciple, plans to use his imagination against the proven arm of Tom Glavine. Like Einstein, Batista believes talent and knowledge have a limit. Imagination is endless. So, Kevin, imagine Batista's Randy Johnson.
Well, he hopes so. He became the #3 starter for Bob Brenly this year, but he's got to face a tough lefty today, and Tommy Glavine, the mirror image of Greg Maddux from the left side. He paints the outside corner. He gets calls like this, 6 inches off the plate, and gets hitters to chase. He'll flip in that curveball. He'll move you off the plate once in a while. The only concern with Glavine, he walked more men than he ever did before this year. Batista, he throws a slider, a curveball, a split, a fastball, anywhere from 88 to 92 miles an hour. Now, he does make some mistakes up in the zone. I would expect some runs being scored today by the Atlanta Braves hitters to make some adjustments off of Batista, and Bob Brenly's going to have to get into that bullpen today. Now, we take a look at the possible rotation for the rest of the series. This is a pivotal game right here for me. Albie Lopez, you may see Randy Johnson in that spot. I think if it goes to 7 games, why not go to the 3-man rotation right there, 3 days rest. Randy Johnson could get 3 starts. Curt Schilling gets 2 starts, 5 of the 7 games. I don't think that this ball club, the Atlanta Braves, can beat them 4 out of 5 times. That's going to be tough to do. Therefore, I think the Arizona Diamondbacks now have the advantage. This game today is huge for Tommy Glavine, because you don't want to go down now 0-2 and go to Atlanta and see Curt Schilling on Friday.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Of course, the journey continues in Arizona. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the Braves' first NL pennant. Right now, they've settled for 1 NLCS win. The road to the World Series continues next on Fox. I'm Jeannie Zalasko at the Fox Network Center. Another day, another Cy Young winner on the mound in the NLCS, at least for Atlanta. This is the opportunity the Braves have been waiting for as they try to even up the series with the Diamondbacks. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver have all the action from Arizona.
Thank you, Jeannie, and fans, welcome. The roof is off. It's the 2001 National League Championship Series. It is Game 2 from Bank One Ballpark, the Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with Tim McCarver. Well, Randy Johnson was so good in Game 1, the Braves down 1-0. What you have to do taking on Arizona is beat up on the 3 and 4 starters for the Diamondbacks. You're not going to get to Schilling and Johnson easily. The Cardinals didn't do it in the division series. They lost to Batista. Tonight, the Braves have to do it.
And the Braves don't want to go to Atlanta facing Curt Schilling, who has been superb, giving up only 1 run in 18 innings. So they call on the trusted left-hander, Tommy Glavine, the winningest left-handed pitcher in the major leagues over the last 13 seasons. What did he do in the divisional playoffs? He beat the Houston Astros in Game 2, 1-0, working 8 innings, throwing 97 pitches and not 1 breaking ball. Amazing.
So a guy who was formerly barely a number 5 starter, Miguel Batista's on the mound. The Arizona manager, Bob Brenly, will tell you, don't take him lightly. He has given this team a lot this season.
We had him in the rotation. We put him in the bullpen in long relief. We used him as a setup guy. We used him as a right-handed specialist. We put him back in the rotation. We pitched him between starts when he was in the rotation, and we'll continue to do that throughout this postseason. He's a very resilient guy, and you know, obviously Randy and Curt have had Cy Young MVP-type years, but in a strange way, Miguel may be our most valuable pitcher this year for what he brought to the team.
And that's saying a lot. These days, you have to mix and match bullpen, starting rotation. Miguel Batista in that Game 3 start in the division series went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs. It was basically a home run by Jim Edmonds. That's it. 3 hits. He was terrific. And to me, that win for Arizona in that division series is as big a reason why they're playing the Braves in the NLCS as what Schilling did in Games 1 and 5.
I think Bob Brenly would take 6 successful innings out of Batista again tonight.
Well, that's it from the booth. Right now, we go down to the field for more pregame festivities and our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, we ask you to please rise and please remove your caps. The Arizona Diamondbacks are pleased to present our national anthem, performed for you this evening by Jesse McGuire.
Well, it's hot in the desert, and the pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks has been on fire. The Diamondbacks with a 2.04 ERA during this postseason. Whether it's been Schilling or Johnson, Miguel Batista 6 strong in Game 3 of the Division Series. And a matchup of these two, Miguel Batista on your left, Tom Glavine on your right. And Glavine will be making a National League record 14th start in NLCS play. And this crowd is packed in. We look around, very few empty seats. A little different story than yesterday afternoon's game, a game which was dominated by Randy Johnson. 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, 125 pitches. And that's all the Diamondbacks needed to get past Greg Maddux and the Atlanta Braves. So now the Braves down 1-0 turn to Tom Glavine. 5-time 20-game winner, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, 35-year-old left-hander from Massachusetts. And these fans now talking about World Series baseball and what it would be like for Bob Brentley's crew to end up in the Fall Classic. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series is history. A 4-2 Yankee victory. Pettit over Seeley with a save for Rivera. And these Diamondbacks right now, Tim, are confident because of guys like Schilling, because of guys like Randy Johnson. If they win tonight with Miguel Batista on the mound, they believe they will roll right through to the World Series.
With Schilling going in Game 3, and to reiterate what we said in the opening, they are facing one of the most grizzled veterans of postseason play, Tommy Glavine.
Bob Brentley, the Arizona manager, is sick. He was sound asleep in his office a couple hours prior to the game when we typically meet with him. So he is battling flu-like symptoms as his Diamondbacks prepare to battle the Atlanta Braves.
Postseason baseball can put you in a weakened condition.
That's tonight's starter, Miguel Batista, taking his time getting to the mound, and here's the lineup for the Atlanta Braves. Marcus Giles leads off at second base. Julio Franco batting second at first, then Chipper Jones, Brian Jordan, B.J. Surhoff, Andrew Jones batting sixth, Javi Lopez the catcher, Ray Sanchez is the shortstop, and Tom Glavine pitching and batting ninth. That's the Atlanta lineup, and here is the Arizona right-hander, Miguel Batista, full of confidence. 11-8 during the regular season, and there are his numbers from the postseason. 2 appearances, 1 start in that divisional series with St. Louis.
He has also beaten the Atlanta Braves once this year. So Miguel Batista, a huge start for him. As Joe said earlier, he beat the Cardinals in Game 3 of the division series. Resilient and flexible. That's what Bob Brenly says. He has a full assortment of pitches. A 4-seamer, a 2-seamer. The 2-seamer running in on the right-handed batters, away from left-handers, and much more of a pitcher now. It was interesting to hear Bobby Cox talk about Batista. Bobby remembering Miguel a decade ago when he pitched with Florida and Montreal. A thrower then, but a pitcher now.
Backing up Batista defensively. The Diamondbacks look like this. Luis Gonzalez, Steve Finley, and Reggie Sanders in the outfield. Matt Williams, Craig Counsell at shortstop. Womack bothered by a calf strain, his right calf. So Counsell's at short, and Jay Bell makes his second postseason start. He's at second with Mark Grace at first. Damian Miller is the catcher. And then it's Batista on the mound. You're talking about a guy in Miguel Batista who came up with Pittsburgh in '92, was with the Marlins in '96, the Cubs in '97, Montreal '98, '99, and half of 2000. Ended that year in Kansas City. So without a doubt, a journeyman pitcher, but a guy who has given this Diamondbacks team a lot, splitting time between the rotation and the bullpen. And with the Diamondbacks this season, 11-8 with a very good ERA of 3.36. Marcus Giles set to lead it off. This broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. And we are glad that you are with us for Game 2 from the desert. Batista in that start in St. Louis, matched up against Darryl Kyle, went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. Giles hits it deep to left field. 1 pitch, 1 run. Home run, Marcus Giles, and what a start.
So much for getting your feet wet. Miguel Batista's knee deep after 1 pitch. A fastball, and the Braves score after being shut out by Randy Johnson. Right down the pipe. A lot of pitchers think that leadoff batters will take that pitch. He took it deep.
Guys hardly had a chance to get to their position to watch from the bench as Giles puts Atlanta on top, and here's Julio Franco. Ball 1 up and in. Giles was up there ready for that pitch, like he'd been thinking about it since he fouled out to right to record out number 2 in the 9th inning yesterday against Randy Johnson. Franco had very good swings yesterday against Johnson, and he's ahead of the count here, 2-0.
Julio Franco with 1 of the 3 hits yesterday. Chipper Jones had the other 2. How about that? Marcus Giles on the first pitch puts the Braves on top.
Here comes a 2-0 to Julio Franco. Pretty well hit into right. Back is Sanders at the wall to make the catch for the first out. Sanders had his back up against that wall 2 times yesterday with Giles at the plate. And here in Game 2, he's backed up against the fence by Franco.
So far, the roof being open is a telling factor in this ball game. A 2-0 game last night behind Randy Johnson. Marcus Giles with a home run, and Franco pushing Sanders against the fence. When the roof is open here, the ball carries much, much better, said Curt Schilling before tonight's game.
Now it's Chipper Jones with 1 out and nobody on, a run home. Beautiful night here in Phoenix. Chipper Jones now, Brian Jordan on deck. And this has been a rather loud start to this one for the Braves. The numbers in the postseason for Chipper Jones. Jones had 2 of the 3 hits yesterday against Randy Johnson. Ball 1. Miguel Batista, who has a picture of one of his heroes, Albert Einstein, in his locker here at Bank One Ballpark. He likes Albert's philosophy: imagination is unlimited. You know what you know, and you do what you can do, but imagination is unlimited. A man is as big as he can dream. That's either Albert Einstein or Tony Robbins. Here comes a 3-0. In for a strike, 3-1.
He's a very engaging guy. Bob Brenly says that every time he sees Batista, he's reading a book. Speaks very good English, even though he's from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic.
That's a 1-out walk. A man on for Brian Jordan. After the home run by Marcus Giles, he came over and talked to his hitting coach, Merv Rettenman, who's wearing a microphone.
What was it, kid? Fastball up and out over the plate. Down the middle. Up and down. Don't try to aim it. Let it. Hey, he's going to hang that slow breaking ball there tonight, too. It's going the same spot.
Usually the second time up, a hitter who hit a home run doesn't get the same pitch. That's what Rettenman was referring to.
For Marcus Giles, a former 53rd round pick in '96, hit 81 minor league home runs. Not a big guy. His brother Brian is not a huge guy. He's strong as heck. He pounds home runs for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and now Marcus Giles is getting a chance to play second base every day for these Braves, and he made that first at-bat count. Now it's Brian Jordan, who struck out to end the day yesterday, and is 2 out of 15 in the postseason. Off the hand, strike 1. B.J. Surhoff waits to hit next. Jordan, a .295 hitter during the regular season, 25 home runs, 97 runs batted in. That's toward the right field corner, slicing foul. 0-2.
Batista is not fooling the Braves so far. You mentioned Miguel Batista and his affection for Albert Einstein. Damian Miller has a picture of Clint Eastwood in his locker. Now think about that. The Battery tonight, they're admirers of Einstein and Eastwood. I don't know what that means.
That runs the entire spectrum.
Josie Wales.
The outlaw Josie Wales is in the locker, hanging to the right side of Damian Miller's little cubby. Miguel Batista studies Einstein. Here comes an 0-2 pitch. To third. Williams with a backhand, and that's the only out they'll get. 2 out. Force out 5-4 with Bell taking the throw. And the inning will continue for B.J. Surhoff.
Now, sometimes a second baseman becomes a first baseman. Fine backhand play by Williams, but the throw is low. So Bell just taking the 1 out.
Again, Tony Womack, who has been one of the heroes for Arizona in the postseason to this point, is out with a strain in his right calf. He could play tonight. He has not done well against Tom Glavine in his history. 1 out of 13, lefty on lefty, so it makes sense anyway to start Jay Bell in this game, who's a .315 career hitter with 2 home runs against Glavine. Runner at first, 2 out, a run home for Atlanta. And an 0-1. Surhoff trying to hold up, could not. 0-2.
What a fine play by Damian Miller. Throughout the postseason, we have seen Miller make some terrific plays, and is he playing in pain? He was hit in the midsection in Game 4 of the divisional series against the Cardinals. He's wearing 3 athletic supporters tonight, along with that protective cup. There is swelling there. So he is in a lot of pain behind the plate.
Surhoff, who didn't start in yesterday's game, backs out of there. Hit only 10 home runs during the regular season. So far, 3 out of 11 in the postseason. That's for Batista. Inning over. This was off Batista. E equals MC squared. 1-0 Atlanta after a half inning in Phoenix. It's a 1-0 Atlanta lead, and the home run by Giles now in the bottom of the first inning. The Diamondbacks come to bat against Tom Glavine. Here's their lineup. Craig Counsell will lead off. He's the shortstop. Jay Bell batting second and second. Luis Gonzalez hitting third. Reggie Sanders cleans up with Finley, Matt Williams, Mark Grace, Damian Miller, the catcher, and Miguel Batista. 2 hits all year, pitching and batting ninth.
After adjusting to the new strike zone, Tommy Glavine has been red hot, 10-2 with a 2.38 ERA over the second half of the year.
Again, this is the 14th NLCS start for Tom Glavine. That's a record. His record in the NLCS, though, is no good. 4-8 as he catches the strike zone to Craig Counsell. Up in the leadoff spot tonight with Bell and Gonzalez to follow. Counsell is 5 out of 20 in the postseason and leads the Arizona Diamondbacks in RBIs. He got them all with 1 swing. The 7th inning 3-run home run in Game 3 in St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Counsell also leads this team in runs scored with 4. He scored 4 of the 12 total runs by Arizona. That's just outside, 2-1, and I don't think it means more to any pitcher than it does to Tom Glavine as to who the umpire is behind the plate and how much on and just off that corner he's going to give Glavine.
If an umpire expands the plate for Glavine, he's much more successful. He does not live in the middle, living out of the strike zone so far.
It's Jeff Kellogg behind the plate with Angel Hernandez, Mike Riley, Jerry Davis, Tim McClellan, and Jerry Crawford supporting him. 3 balls and a strike on Counsell. Full count. Counsell, arbitration eligible, may have played his way this season and into the postseason into a multi-year contract. Into left field and right at Surhoff. 1 out. Defensively for Atlanta, you know who's playing left? It's B.J. Surhoff with Andrew Jones in center and Brian Jordan in right. Around the infield, it's Chipper Jones, Ray Sanchez, Marcus Giles, Julio Franco, Javi Lopez doing the catching for Tom Glavine. And the Braves are happy to have Lopez back in their lineup. Unavailable because of a sprained left ankle he suffered on the 30th of September. He missed the division series.
That's what we were talking about. At the beginning of the year, Tom Glavine did not adapt to the new strike zone. Umpires were not giving him those pitches on the corner. Never, never give in. That's his motto. And he still's got to have that outside strike. Remember, no breaking balls against Houston. 97 pitches, no breaking balls.
This one the other way, and it's Jordan in right, 2 out. Now Gonzalez will be the hitter. We talked about the effort by Glavine in the division series, Game 2. 8 innings, no runs, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, a 1-0 victory as he combined with John Smoltz. And Bagwell said after that game, Glavine makes his living not letting you hit the ball as hard or where you want to.
About that in that ballpark, 8 innings of shutout ball at Enron Field in Houston.
Here's Gonzalez, 6 out of 23 in the postseason. Strike 1. Glavine, Cy Young Award winner in 1991 at the start of this terrific run for the Braves. That's out of play left side. The count 0-2. Since that 91 season, they've won the 10 straight division titles, 5 pennants, and 1 world championship back in 1995. Bobby Cox, number 12 on the all-time list as far as wins go for managers, in his 16th year with the Braves. Here's the 0-2. Reaching for it, off Glavine's foot to Giles. 1-4-3, and the inning is over. Diamondbacks go in order. We go to the second. The Braves will have Jones, Lopez, and Sanchez coming up. They lead by 1.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by the people of United Airlines. We are united. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up but never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Second inning of Game 2 with Arizona up 1-0. It'll be Andrew Jones, Javi Lopez, and Ray Sanchez, the 6, 7, 8 hitters for Atlanta. Jones hitless in 3 at-bats with 3 strikeouts in yesterday's effort against Randy Johnson. Strike 1.
Yesterday, Andrew's reach was beyond his grasp. Watch him reach for this one, and this one, and the hat trick.
Something that Bobby Cox specifically told us. Right. They're trying to have Andrew stop doing. Breaking ball for strike 2.
So if you're Batista right now, you take advantage of what Johnson did yesterday and entice him with breaking balls off the plate away. See if he bites.
That was away, and Jones popped it up. Hard race. Foul territory, 1 out.
Batista actually makes a mistake with this slider. You can see how Damian Miller had the low target. He wanted it off the plate. When you're watching from the side and you're a manager, that's a frightening sight when your catcher has to move that far up in the zone. Usually that spells bad news.
Lopez grounds to short. Counsell to his left. 2 out. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox, it's Game 2 of the American League Championship Series, presented by the New York Stock Exchange, as the Yankees try to go up 2-0 on Seattle before heading back to the Bronx. It'll be Mike Messina against the Mariners' Freddie Garcia, pitching on 3 days rest. The road to the World Series continues tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on Fox. Yankees won 27 of 35 postseason series when they win Game 1. They won Game 1 about an hour ago. Meanwhile, Tim, in the category of not wanting to leave anything unsaid, the Braves have been in the National League Championship Series 10 previous times. When they've won Game 1, they're 4-0 in the series. After dropping the first one, they're 1-5. There you go. Chew on that statistic. Completely different teams, completely different years, completely different rosters. But now you know. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ray Sanchez.
Completely different opponent, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That's for darn sure.
Darn right.
On 2 out with the bases empty. Sanchez 2 hits in this postseason. That's foul. And it's 1-2. Crowd trying to climb back in it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inning over as Sanchez, no, just got a piece, says the home plate umpire. And the Diamondbacks will have to return to their positions. All headed off the field, and the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg, said that the hitter Sanchez got a piece of that.
Certainly hit the ground. No argument from Damian Miller. That was a splitter from Batista.
I don't think he touched it.
It didn't look like it.
So the count 1-2.
Usually a manager relies on the catcher to make that call because obviously he's the closest of your guys to it, but no argument from Miller.
If Sanchez should reach, Tom Glavine waits to hit next. Base is empty with 2 out behind Batista. Now, Tim, now the inning is over. You ready for the bottom of the second?
Okay.
It'll be Sanders, Finley, and Williams. 1-0 Atlanta.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by AT&T Long Distance. Nothing else has the power of your voice. By the Accelerator, the Destroyer, the Stumper, the Predator, BioBugs, a revolution in evolution. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up.
Back to the hill is Tom Glavine. Not only is the roof open, but those panels out in center field are open. They were open during yesterday's game. The roof was closed. And we've seen the ball really jump here in the early innings, at least the first 2 hitters, with Giles homering deep into left and Franco pinning the man at the plate, Reggie Sanders, up against the wall for the first out. Sanders takes ball 1 low and away.
Up in Toronto at Sky Dome, it takes 20 minutes to open and close the roof. Here in Phoenix, it takes 4 minutes to open it. So if we have a cloud burst, 4 minutes, no problem.
Fouled off to the left, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Very few cloud bursts in the desert anyway.
Used to have a convertible that took longer than 4 minutes for the roof to close. Took a team of 8 yanking the thing out of the back, pinning it to the front of the car. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanders hops out of there. Tom Glavine, his first 15 starts, had a record of 6-5 with an ERA over 5. His last 20, he went 10-2 with an ERA of 2.5. So he definitely made an adjustment during the season. As Sanders takes ball 2, 2-1, and the early results are that Glavine's not getting much off the corners from the home plate umpire, which will cause Leo Mazzoni to rock. The rotation of the earth causes Leo Mazzoni to rock on the dugout bench for the Braves. Here comes a 2-1 pitch to Sanders. Popped up right side. That's Franco. That's out number 1. Tom Glavine tells us what happened mid-season and why he got it together on the mound.
Earlier this year when I started to struggle a little bit and kind of was faced with, all right, how am I going to get out of this? I guess the biggest thing that jumped out at me was kind of having somewhat of a change in philosophy and being a little bit more open-minded to pitching inside more, to using my curveball and slider a little bit more, and just figuring other ways to get guys out other than just sinkers and changeups. And I think inevitably what ended up happening was I used the inside part of the plate more, I used my break and stuff more, and that made it easier for me to get guys out with my changeup and my sinker.
So far, he's retired the first 4. He missed with the first pitch to Finley. And now Finley grounds to second. Giles to his right. 2 out.
You have heard that expression, contact hitter. Tommy Glavine is a contact pitcher. He only struck out about 4.5 a game. That was 4th lowest in the National League. Look at his last 8 starts. That includes his 1-0 win over the Houston Astros.
Here's Matt Williams, who has obviously faced Glavine many times and has compiled a .219 career average against this Atlanta left-hander. Glavine, a former second-round pick, 1984, came up in 1988, was 7-17 in his first full season in the big leagues. 3 years later, he won the Cy Young. The 1-0. Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You can see Javi Lopez moving outside and Glavine pitching to the middle of the body. Often, Lopez will not even give a target, with Glavine picking up the middle of the body instead of the glove. Again.
And Williams lays off. 2 balls and a strike. Matt only 2 hits this postseason, but he got the game-winning rally, the series-winning rally in Game 5 on Sunday night going with a leadoff double. He had a hit in his first at-bat yesterday. Back outside, base hit through the left side. Diamondbacks have their first base runner.
That's what happens when you miss away over the fatter part of the plate. A guy like Matt Williams, only his 3rd hit in postseason. However, he's 3 for his last 6, so you can look at it one way, that he was 1 for 16. He had the key hit in Game 5 against the Cardinals, his last at bat. But a couple of hits in the last 2 games.
The call-in shows will say he's 3 for 21 in the postseason.
Right.
Matt Williams and Bob Brentley will say that he's 3 out of his last 6.
Right.
Ball 1 to Mark Grace. Grace hit .298 during the regular season, 15 home runs. 4 out of 18 this postseason in his first year with Arizona.
I'm a little surprised that Chipper Jones is that far off the line at third base, because Mark Grace is a type of hitter that peppers that left field line consistently. Chipper Jones is playing him almost like a left-handed pull hitter.
And it's doubly dangerous if Glavine's going to work hitters away.
That's right. The left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitters, generally speaking, particularly guys like Grace, are more apt to hit the ball the other way than they would, for instance, against a right-handed pitcher.
We talked to Grace before the game about how Glavine has pitched him. He said, just about like everybody else, he starts me away and tries to get me to chase farther out of the strike zone, which, again, would lead you to believe that Chipper Jones would be closer to the line at third base, but well off the line. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 2 out. Again, away in the count, 2-1, and again, Glavine not getting the corner, so a little extra stare into the home plate umpire. Leo Mazzoni has guided this staff to either the top or the second best ERA in Major League Baseball every year since 1992. They did it again this year. That caught the corner in the count, 2-2.
Roger Kahn, who wrote The Boys of Summer, has a new book out, relatively new, called The Head Game, about pitching. And he calls Leo Mazzoni the Pope of pitching.
See the National League leaders in ERA this season. Braves always on top. Grace reaching for 1. Lines a base hit to right. 2 on, 2 out.
We mentioned that Tommy Glavine did not throw in any breaking balls against Houston. He's thrown 2 tonight. 1 to get Gonzalez, and this one that Mark Grace hammers to right field. You can see the rotation going down and away, and Grace, a very good 2-strike hitter.
So now an RBI opportunity for Damian Miller, who knocked home 47 during the regular season. No RBIs in the postseason so far. Just missing the corner with ball 1. Diamondbacks up 1-0, trailing in game 2, 1-0. Two 2-0 with the pitcher Batista on deck. Talk about never, ever giving in. That applies here for Tom Glavine. He'll still make his pitches. And if Miller doesn't go after those borderline pitches and Glavine doesn't get the call, he'll put him on.
Just like that.
2-1.
There aren't too many pitchers with 2 on and 2 out on a 2-ball and no strike count that pitches a right-handed hitter like it was no balls and 2 strikes.
Now it's 3-1. Runners at first and second, 2 out. And there's ball 4 to load him up. Glavine doesn't give in, and now he has to get Miguel Batista, the Arizona pitcher, to keep the lead. Only 2 of the first 8 batters that Glavine has faced have seen a strike on the first pitch. Miguel Batista during the regular season, 2 out of 32. No RBIs. 0 for 1 in the postseason so far. Had a pretty good swing in Game 3 and takes ball 1.
Once again to Damian Miller. Never give in. He didn't, and now he's behind Batista.
Miguel Batista, before a big start against San Francisco late in the season, when asked by Bob Brenly if he was ready for the start, told his manager, BB, just sit back and enjoy the show. Now it's Batista at the plate, swinging the bat, trying to put the Diamondbacks on the board. He's late there in the count, 1-2. To say that Miguel Batista is confident is an understatement. Despite his travels through Pittsburgh, Florida, Chicago, Montreal, Kansas City, now Arizona, Bob Welch knows that Batista is bursting with confidence. Bases loaded, 2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the inside corner, and the inning is over. Glavine away the entire inning, and he goes to the inside part to end the second. First pitch of the night, Marcus Giles took out of the park. He'll bat second for the Braves in the third. They're up 1. Miguel Batista will deal with Tom Glavine, Marcus Giles, Julio Franco. Glavine had a hit in that Game 2 in Houston. 8 out of 57 during the regular season. And he takes ball 1. Whether it's with a golf club in his hands, a bat, a hockey stick, Tom Glavine knows how to use it. Giles in that first swing of the night, the difference in the game so far, as Batista falls behind 2-1. And now 3-1.
A lot of times it's a hitting instructor who will prepare a young hitter for his next at bat, and you may remember that comment by Merv Rettenman saying he's going to hang a breaking ball to you before the night's over, too.
Full count on Glavine. just getting a piece. The home run by Marcus Giles was the third leadoff home run in Braves postseason history. Billy Bruton, Game 2 of the '58 World Series against the Yankees. Marquise Grissom, Game 2 of the '95 Division Series at Colorado. Glavine with a chopper to Grace. 1 away. After the home run, Merv Rettenman, the hitting instructor for Atlanta, had this to say to Marcus Giles.
What was it, kid?
Fastball up and out over the plate. Down the middle. Up and down.
Don't try to aim it. Let it. Hey, he's going to hang that slow breaking ball there tonight, too. It's going the same spot.
That was on the first pitch of the ball game, and what Merv was telling young Marcus Giles, look for a breaking ball the first pitch or two. You might get it.
Fastball, and he got it past him, 93 miles per hour, strike one.
Might have been looking breaking ball right here. Good fastball. Really, it's not the fastball. It's where the pitch was, right down the middle of the plate. That one wasn't, however.
That's the third. Williams charges to get the high hop, 2 out.
That was a breaking ball and a good one from Batista. Watch this slider bite. You make contact there, you're going to make an out more often than not.
So a roll over to third, and now Julio Franco bats. Miguel Batista, who pitched in the Caribbean World Series, now pitching in the National League Championship Series for the Arizona Diamondbacks. With 2 out, nobody on, Franco takes a strike.
Caribbean Series among Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Mexico. Crowds root with a frenzy.
Franco gets into one to center field. Finley back at the wall to end the inning. Over 400 feet away, Franco gave it a ride. He's 0 for 2. And the Braves go in order for the second straight inning. Top of the order for Arizona. Bottom of the third, Diamondbacks down 1. Series. The West. The sun is setting. Hitch up your horse and take a dip in the pool here in this ballpark. As a strike hits the outside corner to Craig Counsell. Counsell, Bell, Gonzalez, top of the order against Tom Glavine. We haven't talked much about that pool so far in this series, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But there it is, just like it was back in the 60s when you were playing, Tim. How many ballparks had pools, huh?
There was a pool behind the right field fence in Parc Jarry up in Montreal. The new ballpark, the Big O, where the Expos play now. First year was '76.
For a reason.
Right.
Where they held the Olympics.
Willie Stargell and Willie McCovey used to come in there and hit balls 9 miles over that low riding fence into the public swimming pool behind the scoreboard at Parc Jarry.
There it is. Nearby, there's a guy sitting there making sure that nobody swims within 45 minutes after last eating anything here at this ballpark. Sanchez was moving to his right, came back and gathered in that ground ball, and Counsell's 0 for 2.
Sometimes you rely on a pitcher with control so much that if he's going away, you think he's going to be perfect away. Well, that pitch from Tom Glavine stayed over the middle of the plate, and Sanchez, who had taken one step to his right, all of a sudden had to adjust his course and break back left to make the play.
So with 1 out, here's Jay Bell, flied out to right. His first time up. And takes a strike from Glavine. Only 1 out of 5 in the postseason, saying only 1 out of 5 because he hasn't had many opportunities as his job has been lost to Craig Counsell. But because Womack is bothered by a sore right calf, both Counsell and Bell are in the lineup tonight. 0-2 on Bell. Counsell went to Notre Dame. The general manager here, Joe Garagiola Jr., went to Notre Dame. I'm sure they can get together on some sort of a contract agreement. Those Notre Dame guys don't let you know they went to Notre Dame, do they?
No, no.
I know.
Irish.
I know you went to Notre Dame. Okay, all right. Leo Mazzoni loves the Fighting Irish. The ground ball goes up the middle. That's Giles to his right, 2 out. Luis Gonzalez, who hit 57 home runs this season, more than last year when he hit 31, and his power has just taken off. Home runs by season starting in 97. 10, 23, 26, 31, and then the natural jump to 57.
Luis did not used to be as open and have as much of an open stance as he does right now.
Ball 1.
Not only is his average better, but his power output much better now with that open stance. Seeing the ball with both eyes, not one.
To the right side, diving stop Franco. Gets it to Glavine. What a play. 3-1 on the out. The open stance closed up, hit a sharp ground ball, and Franco to his right took a hit away. We go to the 4th in the desert, 1-0 Atlanta.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
And welcome back. Another tight one, 1-0 Atlanta. 4th inning now, and Chipper Jones is first up. Takes a breaking ball for ball 1.
Chipper Jones is seeing the ball so well right now. You look at that average in postseason, you get the feeling that if he gets the ball in the fat part of the plate, he's going to hit it hard.
To the right side for Grace. The feed to Batista, 1 away. So Jones back to the dugout. The hitter will be Brian Jordan. There's our buddy Cotton Fitzsimmons, the old coach around here, just a true gentleman. He's on the payroll of Jerry Colangelo's empire here out in the desert. The man who broke the heart of our own James Brown, JB, from the Football Studio Show. 1973, Cotton was the head coach in Atlanta, head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. And he ended up cutting James Brown at the end of training camp.
Is that right?
He did.
I didn't know that.
JB, a swing man from Harvard. Cotton's line to him was, I can't have anybody smarter than me playing for me. This week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with America's #1 pregame show as JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris get you ready for kickoff. Then Kurt Warner and the Rams take on Curtis Martin and the Jets. Brett Favre and the Packers will take on Randy Moss and the Vikings in an NFC Central Division showdown. Or other regional action. Coverage begins noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. 2 out, nobody on. Here is B.J. Surhoff. That's ball 1.
Speaking of basketball, B.J. Surhoff attended the University of North Carolina. He played for Mike Roberts down there, and now Mike Roberts, B.J. told me this today before the game, Mike Roberts' son is in the Baltimore Oriole organization.
Surhoff, who played for the Orioles, was traded from the Orioles to Atlanta at the trading deadline last year, when the Orioles, one of the worst teams in baseball, traded, I don't know, 4 or 5 players to division contenders in each league. Guys like Will Clark, who made such a difference for St. Louis. B.J. Surhoff, 2 of the handful of them that ended up leaving the Orioles. He had a pitch down and away, and Surhoff couldn't catch up to it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Surhoff reunited with Walt Weiss, his teammate at the University of North Carolina last year.
In that trade, they were teammates. Walt Weiss retired after the season. A 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. BJ's dad, Dick, played for the Knicks. Good athlete, former catcher, former third baseman, now a solid left fielder. 2-2 pitch. And a pop-up into left center. Slicing to Gonzalez, and the Braves go in order. Bottom of the 4th, Sanders, Finley, Matt Williams coming up 1-0 Atlanta. There's a Brave fan here in Phoenix. Atlanta leading 1-0 on a home run by Marcus Giles on the first pitch of the night. All zeros since then, and Reggie Sanders first up. Finley and Matt Williams will follow against Glavine. Ball 1. Sanders fouled out to first to lead off the second. Hit a mammoth home run here on Sunday night. Game 5 against Matt Morris in the 4th inning. The only run of the night until the top of the 8th when J.D. Drew homered to tie it, leading to Tony Womack's failed effort on the squeeze bunt. A couple of pitches later, the game-winning hit to send the Diamondbacks to their first NLCS. Meanwhile, Atlanta, for the 9th time in the last 10 postseasons, and you say that because 94 didn't happen, the Braves are in the NLCS. The 1-1. That's sliced down the right field line and foul.
Here's the home run on the curveball from Matt Morris. That put the Diamondbacks ahead. Then they went on to win it in the 9th inning on the Womack hit. 2 strikes on Reggie Sanders. You hear that phrase, he or she have 2 strikes against them? Well, it's literally true in baseball that hitters do not succeed often when they do.
To the shortstop. Backing up your point. A 2-strike ground out, 1 away in the 4th.
Major league hitters this year, this may take a little time to digest, right here, with 2 strikes. That's with 2 strikes. All of the other counts, hitters hit over 300.
There, boom, enough said. Good job.
With 2 strikes this year, you saw the overall average of major league hitters, 264 with 2 strikes, a 185 average.
So with 1 out, nobody on, here's Finley.
Obvious reason for that is when hitters are ahead, they can look for a predictable pitch and generally get it. Have a good cut at it.
Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Finley bounced out to second his first time up. Two and 1. Nothing spectacular about the way Tom Glavine pitches. We had a left-hander on the mound here yesterday who lights up when he's on the mound, throwing 98 miles an hour. Finley taps 1 to first. Franco gets a bad hop, feeds Glavine, 2 out. Then there's Tom Glavine, Tim, at the other end of the spectrum, who's just hitting spots, changing speeds, and making these Diamondback hitters put the ball in play.
And Glavine and Maddox can do it when they're behind in the count. That count 2 balls and 1 strike. So against guys like Glavine, the big reason that they're successful, he's already won a Cy Young in '91, is they can throw something that's unpredictable when they're behind in the count. Just got Finley on a ball out of the strike zone down.
Here's Williams, who took a pitch down and away and singled through the left side his first time up. That's pretty well hit to deep right center field. Jones back 410 feet away. Pulls it in for the out. The deepest part of this park. And the Diamondbacks go in order. We're in downtown Phoenix, 1-0 Atlanta after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. Andrew Jones leads off and takes the ball low and away from the right-hander Batista, who's turned in a good start. Who hasn't really for these two teams in the postseason so far? 2-bouncer, Matt Williams. 1-out. Here is our MasterCard fan cam. Here we are in the Southwest. And here's Frankie Lane with Rawhide. Ends up losing a bat into the seats. Yesterday that happened with Julio Franco at the plate. Tonight it's Javi Lopez as he let it fly into the seats, and it appears everybody's okay. And here it is again.
The ritual, traditional baseball ritual. The boos, and then the player or the bat boy will exchange bats.
Although Lopez didn't seem to really want that bat. Lopez said, you can have it.
Yeah, he just swung and missed. Threw it in the stands. Who needs it? Keep it. I don't need it. All right.
It's almost in the identical location as yesterday.
I was thinking the same thing.
Might be the same guy. With some lawyer yesterday who immediately started to negotiate. Look, no. See, I'm going to need 2 bats, a dozen balls. Here's my card. We'll talk later. 0-2 pitch. Pitch was up, and Batista got away with it. 95 miles an hour, one of the reasons why he got away with it.
You've heard of ambulance chasers. He's a bat chaser.
So 1 out, nobody on, and still an 0-2 count on Javi Lopez. Ray Sanchez will follow. I know you wince every time Damian Miller has to dive for a pitch because he is in some pain.
He really is. Talking to Damian before the game this evening, you can see right here, you may say, well, it's inconsequential since nobody's on base, but if Lopez goes for it, it wouldn't be. But he is in a lot of pain back there.
Hit on a similar pitch in Game 5 on Sunday night. Lopez swings and misses. Strikeout number 2 for Batista. Jeannie Zalasko is standing by somewhere in Los Angeles for the game break.
Hey, Joe, the Mariners and Yankees seem to be on a collision course all season. Today, the ALCS rematch finally got underway, and he headed to the honors for the Yankees, not only with his defense. 8 innings. He gave up just 3 hits, 1 run, and it's Game 2 of this series. Yankees at Seattle tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox.
All right, Jeannie, thanks. 2 out, nobody on, and there's a pitch up and away to Sanchez, ball 1. What was the bigger story, that the Yankees won Game 1 or that Rivera gave up a run? He entered, it was 4-1. It ended, it was 4-2, and the Yankees win Game 1 in Seattle. Dangerous foul ball into the seats, 1-1. Paul O'Neill with a home run. 2-run home run, which made it 3-0 in the eventual 4-2 final. Bob Brenly, bothered with flu-like symptoms, did not meet with the media prior to this game. No reason to be animated yet tonight with Atlanta up 1-0 on that leadoff home run by Marcus Giles. That's a tough play, and it's through Matt Williams into left. Playing in to guard against a possible bunt. And it's an error on Williams, his second of the postseason.
And you might think, well, why bunt with 2 out and nobody on? Not normally a good play, but Sanchez, most of his hits are singles anyway.
And if he gets on, he will clear the pitcher, Tommy Glavine, or the leadoff batter, Marcus Giles, in the 6th. So an error on Williams, but it was a tough play. That in-between hop that Williams had to backhand. 4-time Gold Glove winner.
Here's Tom Glavine, 0 for 1, takes a ball. Glavine bounced out to the right side his first time up, 1 out of 4 in the postseason. See the average in the regular season, 140. He was 8 out of 57. Nearly halfway through game 2. We're in the top of the 5th, 1 on, 2 out, 1-0 Braves. The Diamondbacks will have the bottom 3 in their lineup in the bottom of this 5th. 1-1.
That, by the way, Joe, the first base runner since the 1-out walk to Chipper Jones in the 1st inning.
So Miguel Batista is doing it again.
Yeah.
After 6 strong innings in game 3 of the division series, 2 runs and only 3 hits. He's turned in a good one tonight, and the Diamondbacks, we talked about it earlier, if they win in starts that Batista makes, and all Batista's trying to do is keep it close, with a 1-2 punch the Diamondbacks have in their rotation, the odds are they'll advance to the World Series. Might not happen, but they like their chances with Schilling and Johnson. Later in this series with Schilling scheduled on Friday in game 3. Here's the count, 3-1 now on Tom Glavine.
In our pregame show, Kevin Kennedy, along with Jeannie Zelasco, Kevin talking about Randy Johnson starting on Saturday. Right now, that is not Bob Brenly's plan. The plan is to start Albie Lopez on Saturday and then Randy Johnson on Sunday. But there's that 1-2 punch Joe was talking about.
Yeah, this is why the Diamondbacks would love their chances if they win tonight with Batista starting. 3-2 pitch, runner goes, got him on the outside corner. And there is no one who cannot argue with a pitch like that than Tom Glavine. He just hangs his head and goes back to the dugout.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by Nextel. Nextel, how business gets done.
Welcome back to Phoenix. Marcus Giles, the difference maker in this game. A home run back in the first, wears number 24. And this fall, Fox presents Kiefer Sutherland in 24. The critics just love it. TV Guide, Rolling Stone, and USA Today all agree 24 is the best new show of the season. The series premiere of 24 coming Tuesday, November 6th, to Fox. So we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mark Grace, Damian Miller, Miguel Batista, the bottom 3 in the order, against Tom Glavine in a 1-run game. Ball 1 to Mark Grace, and a pitch that Glavine needs to be successful. Although so far he's allowed no runs, 2 hits, a walk. The 2 hits and the walk came in succession as Grace is on with a hit. He's 2 for 2. As the Diamondbacks put their leadoff man on for the first time tonight.
Hardest hit ball by the Diamondbacks, with the one exception. That ball hit to right center by Matt Williams. And when you get the leadoff batter on in a 1-run ball game, there are a lot of things that Bob Brenly could do. Forget about the bunt. He's not going to do that with Batista on deck. Nobody warming for the Diamondbacks.
Miller fouls it away. That was my first look, with Batista coming up. A well-rested bullpen. There's nobody getting loose. So regardless of what Miller does here, it appears Miguel Batista will bat in the 5th inning.
And if Miller makes an out, instead of grounding into a double play, Bob Brenly will use Batista to bunt him over.
1-0 Atlanta, 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike on Damian Miller. Miller walked to load the bases back in the 2nd, but Batista struck out looking.
The last time the Diamondbacks faced the Atlanta Braves and Greg Maddux, they hit and run 6 times. So that is also an alternative for Bob here.
The one thing having Smoltz in the bullpen does to the rotation for Atlanta, outside of weakening it for obvious reasons, because of the ability of Smoltz earlier in the year was not conditioned well enough with his arm after having surgery on it to be in the rotation, go deep into games. It gives the Braves, their top 3 starters are very similar in their approach. Maddox, Glavine, and Burkett. Runner was going. The hit and run was on, and the runner advances. Grace to second, 1 out, as Miller grounds out 6-3. Smoltz was the one power guy in the rotation. Now he's a power guy to just shut down games out of the bullpen. But they did start the runner to get something going on the bases.
Ideally, obviously, you'd like first and third and nobody out, but now Batista with the runner on at second will be swinging away.
At the infield, in on the corners for Atlanta. Now Franco backs up, getting direction from the dugout. Jones about even with a bag at third. Runner at second, 1 out. That's the tying run, and Batista tries to push a bunt for a hit. And Franco standing there with his hands on his hips, saying, wait a minute, you just backed me up.
He was trying to push it to the right side of the infield and find that seam between Glavine and Franco. Right-handed batters pushed that ball right towards second base. Not that hard, obviously.
Tying run at second, 1 out in the 5th. 1-0 Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the other at bat by Batista back in the 2nd with the bases loaded, 2 out. All inning, Glavine had been working right-handed hitters away. He worked Batista away until he got to 2 strikes and then came inside and got him looking.
Only strikeout of the night.
Back away, too far away, 2-1. Bobby Cox has run Tom Glavine to the mound 29 times now as a starter in the postseason. To the left, Sanchez makes a good play on the other side of the bag, 2 out, and it's a runner at third for Craig Counsell. Sanchez, one of the more underrated shortstops in all of baseball, and now a player who's been underrated in his career and has come up with one big hit after another this postseason. In '97 as well for Florida is Craig Counsell with a tying run at third, 2 out. Counsell's gone the other way twice in his 2 at-bats. He's lifted a fly ball to left, and he's reached out and poked a ground ball to short, 0 for 2. While Lopez gets back to the plate, we'll tell you to wear the new Major League Baseball Authentic Collection premier jacket of your favorite team, featuring Rip Stop Nylon and Micro Fleece lining. Order now, 1-800-365-0600. Diamondbacks a hit away from tying it. Ball 1. Grace a leadoff hit. Went to second on a ground out by Miller. Went to third on a ground out by Batista. Left field, Surhoff to end the inning. So again, Counsell goes the other way. Again, he makes it out. And the Diamondbacks strand their 4th. We go to the 6th inning. Still 1-0 Atlanta.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Well, Miguel Batista could hardly be pitching any better. His first pitch of the night was a mistake, and Marcus Giles didn't miss it. Hit it up into the seats. Giles now will lead it off for Atlanta in the 6th inning, 1 out of 2. with that home run, the only run of the night. Julio Franco and Chipper Jones will follow. Tom Glavine working on a 3-hit shutout on the other side. Strike one. Another first pitch fastball from Miguel Batista. 30-year-old Dominican right-hander. 6'2", 195. A 7-3 record with a 3.14 ERA since the All-Star break. Ahead on the count 0-1, and now he stops. Marcus Giles takes ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giles, 9 home runs during the regular season, took over as the everyday third baseman officially on the 31st of July when the Braves released Kilvio Veras. Called up on the 20th of July, and he gives these Braves a different look at second base. Tough play. Good play by Matt Williams. 1 out.
Similar to the way that Matt Williams ended game 2. Here with the double play, you may remember Mark McGwire in the bobble, stepping on third and throwing to first base.
So Giles retired, 1 out of 3, and Julio Franco will be the hitter.
Check that game 3, not game 2, when McGwire pinch hit in St. Louis.
Julio Franco chops it up the middle. Counsell charges it, does himself a favor, gets a big hop, and gets the out. Miguel Batista, despite his journeyman status, been with Pittsburgh, the Marlins, Cubs, Expos, the Royals. He's been inspired since coming to Arizona.
After we started leading the division, we lost a few games in a row, and we had a meeting, and the guys were talking. And, you know, they asked if anybody else had something to say, and I said, yeah, I said something. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, look, I come from teams that I end up last. And I know how to feel playing for the losing team. And I had come here, and you guys have taught me something different. I mean, you guys inspire me to come here every day and do even more if I can of what I know I can do.
His 0-1 pitch misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he has done that.
Chipper Jones has walked. He's grounded out. Batista with his best season in the big leagues. Right now experiencing his best stretch of his best season.
Dangerous pitch right here to Chipper Jones.
38 home runs during the regular season. Hard hit right side. Jay Bell to his left, inning over. Bell will lead it off for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 6th. Football this Sunday on Fox. Baseball right here, right now on Fox. Bottom of the 6th inning. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Arizona with Atlanta on top 1-0. Jay Bell first up. Good pitch for strike 1. Bell 0 for 2. 1 out of 6 in the postseason. After Bell, Gonzalez and Reggie Sanders will bat. Pretty well hit into right, but Jordan back to get it. 1 out.
Luis Gonzalez, ritualistic at the plate. Line, 1, 2, 3. The taps on home plate for his triplets, Megan, Jacob, and Alyssa. And there they are. Obviously a milk ad.
He bats with 1 out, nobody on. 0 for 2 tonight against Glavine. Ball 1. Glavine has allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, has only 1 strikeout. So the ball has been put in play all night. The only strikeout was of Batista back in the 2nd. The defense has been good behind both pitchers here tonight as Gonzalez rolls one over foul, 2-1.
Joe, we talked about the open stance of Luis Gonzalez. It didn't used to be that way. 1998, you can see he's closed up a bit, and that blocked him out, prevented as much power as he has now. You can almost see that swing right there. The open stance on the right really opens those hips for Luis.
That's on the corner, 2-2. You saw Gonzalez in a Detroit uniform there. Was with the Tigers in 1998, hit .267, 23 home runs, 71 RBIs. That's too far outside, and it's a full count. He was traded here to Arizona with cash in exchange for outfielder Kareem Garcia. He hit 57 home runs during the regular season, and he lines one to center for Andrew Jones, 2 out. And the bases are empty with Reggie Sanders coming up. We are at Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona, Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Mr. Sheen, Mr. Carey, here's what you've missed so far in this game. First pitch of the night, Marcus Giles hit up into the seats in left field from Miguel Batista. From that point on, pitching has dominated. Batista for Arizona, Tom Glavine for Atlanta, making his 29th postseason start and a career 4-8 performer in the LCS. He's not pitching like that here tonight. He's allowed 3 singles, 1 walk, has 1 strikeout. One ball, 1 strike.
It has been lonely on the bases tonight for both teams here in the 6th inning. There have been 7 base runners. 4 for the Diamondbacks, 3 for the Braves.
Glavine in the National League had the 4th fewest strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. He has only 1 tonight, averaging just over 4.5 per 9 innings pitched among regular starters. Kirk Reeder of San Francisco was the lowest at 3.82.
So Glavine says, put the ball in play, but on my terms.
Bobby Cox is manager on the right. Glavine with 2 out, nobody on. The 2-1 to Sanders. Glavine gets the corner here. He hasn't had that pitch called his way much of the night, and the count 2-2.
Reason for that, Lopez sits there, and Glavine, that pitch probably 3 or 4 inches outside, but certainly Lopez with an assist on that fastball.
How many years has Glavine and this pitching staff of the Braves been getting that call?
A lot.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Why not go farther outside? Full count. Steve Finley waits to hit next. Sanders stays up there, 85 miles per hour from Tom Glavine.
See, when Glavine continues to stay on that outside corner, a hitter, particularly a right-handed hitter, is forced to use his arms only. When the ball's inside part of the plate, he can wheel on a ball like that and use his body to hit.
Well, Glavine really hasn't come inside much all night.
No.
To keep these hitters honest, he's just stayed away. The exception, that strikeout pitch to Batista. Now they set up inside, and it's a 2-out walk. So one of the rare times that Glavine comes inside, he misses with it, and the tying run is on with 2 out.
Glavine livid, as is Leo Mazzoni. He had gone away, 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 and now the pitch on the inside corner looks way inside. Well, it was.
So the Braves bench hot about not getting that pitch called their way. Clearly inside. And now with 1 on, 2 out, here's Finley, and a throw over to first. Sanders, in case you're wondering, 1 stolen base in the division series against St. Louis and 14 during the regular season. And really, Javi Lopez with that bad left ankle hasn't been tested yet.
That's right. Very good point, Joe.
Finley takes ball 1.
It would be worse for Lopez if it was the ankle off of which he pushed. That would be his right ankle, but it's his left ankle. So on a throw to second base, that would be the ankle on which he lands. So we'll see if Bob Brenly tests him right here.
Strike in the count, 1-1. Crowd groans about that call. The injury, 30th of September, play at the plate, Ventura. You see the left ankle gets crunched as Ventura comes to the plate. Lopez, even when healthy, only threw out 28% of potential base stealers. Tying run at first, 2 out. Finley chops one into right. Base hit. Sanders will go to third. And it's first and third, 2 out here in the 6th.
Speed can help you in so many ways because Julio Franco was holding Reggie Sanders on at first base. Franco can't get to a ball that he would normally get to. So Sanders easily goes to third. And the Diamondbacks once again threaten.
But this time, instead of having Damian Miller or Miguel Batista up needing a hit to tie the game, or Craig Counsell for that matter in the 5th, here in the 6th inning, it's Matt Williams, who came in only a .219 hitter in his career against Glavine. 1 out of 2 tonight. The outside corner. Outside corner extended. Glavine this season with 2 out and runners in scoring position allowed a .171 batting average. So he clamped down in this spot during the regular season as Rudy Cienez gets loose for Atlanta. Up the middle. Tie game.
By the Arizona Diamondback fans in games 1 and 2 played against the Cardinals. the jeers to cheers.
And along with that Arizona Diamondbacks bench and their manager Bob Brenly, a crowd of 49,334, a sellout here in Game 2. Appreciating the two-out hit by Matt Williams.
That's the first run that Tommy Glavine has given up in the postseason. The 8 scoreless innings against Houston, 5 2/3 here tonight.
Now it's Grace with a chance to put the Diamondbacks on top. Ball 1. Grace 2 for 2. Finley and Williams, the runners on. A 2-out walk to Reggie Sanders started this trouble. Trying to go the opposite way. It's 1-1.
And here is that pitch to Reggie Sanders. After going away, Glavine tried to come inside. He thought he had the front corner. So did Leo Mazzoni. But Sanders walks and scores the run to tie it.
Too far outside, 2-1. To the right side, a high hop for Franco, and that ends the inning. A walk to Sanders, a hit by Finley, and a game-tying hit by Matt Williams. 7th inning now, Game 2. Tied at 1. Tom Glavine, extremely hot after allowing that 2-out rally. First pitch is a ball from Miguel Batista to Brian Jordan. It was a walk to the soon-to-be 34-year-old Sanders, a hit by the 36-year-old Finley, and a base hit by the soon-to-be 36-year-old Matt Williams to tie the game. That's off the end of the bat, not a play. 1-1. If Tom Glavine swings the bat his next time up one-handed, this will be the reason why. First, the pitch that was called for ball 4, which started the rally, was Sanders, who walked. Came around to score on the hit by Williams, and Glavine still hot about not getting that strike 3 call on Sanders.
If you're going to make contact with the bench, make contact with your non-pitching hand and put your cap on with your pitching hand. And that's what Tommy just did.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jordan, who's 0 for 2. Off the hands, into right, and into the glove of Reggie Sanders. 1 away. Fans, we want to tell you that tonight's game is being seen live around the world by U.S. servicemen and women to the facilities of the American Forces Radio and Television Service. They have been at that for a long time, since World War II, I believe. And it goes without saying that all of America salutes the servicemen and women for all they are doing for this country and around the world.
Never has it been more appropriate than now.
B.J. Surhoff with 1 out, nobody on. Surhoff 0 for 2. Breaking ball misses. Well, you can call Batista a swing guy. You can call him at best a number 3 starter, number 4 starter, and number 5 guy. He has turned in 2 enormous starts for the Diamondbacks in this postseason. Game 3 of the division series, and tonight up 1 game to none, following Randy Johnson to the mound as Surhoff loops one into right. Sanders a long way to go. 2 out. He's 1 out away from pitching 7 innings, allowing 1 run on 1 hit to this point.
And I'm sure some of you folks may have raised eyebrows hearing that comment by Bob Brenly that we had in our opener tonight, that Miguel Batista, he said, I know it sounds strange with Schilling and Randy Johnson on the same pitching staff, but he may be our most valuable player and pitcher this year. Not player, pitcher.
With 2 out, a breaking ball misses to Andrew Jones, who's 0 for 2 in this game, 0 for 5 in the series. Why is this such an important night for Atlanta? Down 1-0 and facing Curt Schilling, who this postseason is 2-0. That was against the Cardinals. 9 hits, 18 innings pitched, and an ERA of half a run. Now it's 3-0 on Andrew Jones with Javi Lopez on deck. Is he swinging? Didn't have a chance, and the count on 3-0. That's not even close for ball 4, so that's walk number 2 from Batista. The go-ahead run is on, and Javi Lopez, who was iffy at best at the start of this series as far as being on the active roster, worked out at 7 a.m. yesterday to prove to Bobby Cox and the Braves medical staff that he was healthy enough to play.
Running situation right here. We'll see if Lopez takes a pitch. This at bat might be like the last 30 seconds of a basketball game. Might take 2.5 minutes.
So Damian Miller, banged up behind the plate, may be tested by Andrew Jones, who stole 11 bases during the regular season. Well hit down the right field line. Might go. It is gone. A 2-run home run. Javi Lopez, and with that, the Braves back on top, 3-1.
All 3 runs by the Braves tonight on first pitch home runs. The leadoff home runs by Marcus Giles, and you talk about somebody going up there and looking in an area. Javi Lopez. His first start in 2.5 weeks. He wasn't even eligible during the divisional playoffs. Slider away, and he kept it fair. Right on the pole.
So 3-1 Atlanta. Ray Sanchez takes a ball.
Sometimes you don't necessarily look for a pitch. You look in an area. And in order to hit that pitch, you have to look in that area to hit it that hard.
To the right side, good pickup by Grace, and the inning is over. But it's a 2-out walk that hurts Batista, followed by a 2-run home run by Javi Lopez. It's 3-1 Atlanta. Time to stretch. Time for God Bless America. Laid on the trumpet by Jesse McGuire.
United States of America. Please rise and sing as Jesse McGuire leads us in God Bless America.
Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by the people of United Airlines. We are united.
Well, Javi Lopez, they desperately needed him in this lineup to give the Braves a threat down toward the bottom end of their lineup, the 7th place hitter. It's a 2-out, 2-run home run to give the Braves their biggest lead of the night. 3-1, bottom of the 7th, bottom of the order for Arizona. Damian Miller, then a pinch hitter, then Craig Counsell against Tom Glavine. Miller 0 for 1 with a walk. Now in a hole 0-2.
The last game that Javi Lopez played was on September 30th. That was when we showed it to you earlier, the Robin Ventura slide. This high ankle sprain, the left ankle. What a piece of hitting off Batista.
Not getting the inside corner here, but not as upset about it as Glavine. The count's 1-2.
They're taking a look at it on the replay between innings, and it was just a guy who went up, looked in an area, maybe not the pitch, but he looked in the area, got it, and did something with it.
Glavine gets his second strikeout of the night.
One more time. Watch Lopez glide toward the slider. Tremendously strong. Hitting the foul pole.
So Batista, who will be lifted here for a pinch hitter in this postseason, has pitched 13 innings, allowed only 5 hits, but 3 of those hits have left the park. A home run by Edmonds in Game 1, his Game 1, which was Game 3 of the division series, and here in his second game, 2 home runs. Marcus Giles and Javi Lopez. Here's Colbrin batting for Miguel Batista. One of the best pinch hitters in baseball is Greg Colbrin. The 0-1 pitch, 0-2.
Before the game, Bobby Cox telling us, Joe, that John Smoltz can go more than 1 inning tonight. He did not pitch yesterday. Tommy Glavine is due to lead off the top of the 8th inning. If Glavine gets out of this, we may see Smoltz in the bottom of the 8th.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Colbrin. Bob Welch has to be impressed and pleased with the effort of Miguel Batista. That's foul. Batista won't be happy as he exits the dugout out of the game and trailing 3-1. Mike Morgan is getting loose for the Diamondbacks in their bullpen. Colbrin, a lifetime .314 career pinch hitter. 59 for 188 with 7 pinch hit home runs and 44 RBIs. Was in the hole 0-2. Now it's 2-2. Batting for Batista. Golfed it into center, and Andrew Jones puts it away. 2 out. Here is tonight's game summary brought to you by Nissan. We're in the bottom of the 7th, 3-1 Atlanta. The numbers for the 2 starters, both trying to go 7 here tonight. How about Batista? 2 hits, 3 runs. Javi Lopez, the 2-run homer in the top of this 7th. Marcus Giles, 3rd leadoff home run in Braves playoff history. And Matt Williams, an RBI single with 2 out. First hit with runner in scoring position this postseason to tie the game last inning. In the 6th inning, here's Colbrin, or rather Counsell. He takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Damian Miller struck out. Colbrin lined in the center, and a 1-0 count on Counsell, who's hitless. Steve Carsey getting loose. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think Carsey is getting loose if the Braves need to get out of an inning. And then Bobby Cox, in all probability, would have Smoltz start the inning. But John Smoltz can pitch more than 1 inning tonight.
2-1. John Smoltz. Start to loosen here shortly. Counsell a chopper to Franco. And the Diamondbacks go 1-2-3. In the top of this seventh, 2 out. A man at first, Javi Lopez. Atlanta leads it as we go to the 8th. Game 2, it's 3-1. Javi Lopez sitting and watching as this game goes to the 8th inning. 3-1 Atlanta. Mike Morgan will face a pinch hitter. The numbers for Morgan in this postseason. Originally came to the big leagues about 2 weeks after his high school prom in 1978 with the Oakland A's. And here he is in 2001 throwing a strike to Dave Martinez, hitting for Tom Glavine. Martinez, then Giles, then Franco. To the right side for Bell. 1-1.
Mike Morgan going from a white sport coat and a pink carnation to a major league uniform.
That's right. Maybe the blue tuxedo with the blue ruffled shirt.
One thing for sure, he did not wear that hat that night. Say the Diamondbacks have some hats that are that have been around for a while.
They've actually changed color, which is interesting.
Was purple, now it's brown. Mauve, maybe.
1 out, nobody on for Marcus Giles, who is homered. 1 out of 3, and he pops one into right. Well hit. Sanders back at the track to pull it in. 2 out. We talked about it yesterday that Giles has the ability, although he's not a big guy, to go the other way with some pop, and he has hit the ball to the track or the wall 3 times already in this series the opposite way. So 2 out. Tom Glavine now with his efforts tonight. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. In 20 of his 29 postseason starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. Wow. In line for a win tonight if his bullpen can hang on to this lead, and it appears that that bullpen will be represented by John Smoltz in the bottom of this 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Franco.
Such remarkable consistency out of Glavine and Maddox, and now Smoltz in the bullpen.
Two balls and a strike. You have 3 Cy Young Award winners on this Atlanta pitching staff. 7 among Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. 8 seasons of 20 or more wins, and Glavine has 5 of them. Combined ERA of 3.17. Smoltz, who has 12 career postseason victories, #1 on the all-time list, and that's obviously with more opportunities than some of the great pitchers in the history of this game, whether it's LCS play, which didn't happen until 1969, or this extra division series round as well. First year of that was 95. He's now the closer. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Julio Franco. Into center field for a 2-out hit. A 42-year-old Mike Morgan gives up a hit. Now we'll deal with Chipper Jones. And it may not be Morgan. It could be one of the 2 left-handers that the Diamondbacks have in their bullpen. Either Anderson or Swindell.
Prior to 3 years ago, Chipper Jones was a much better hitter left-handed than right-handed, but this year he had 50 points higher from the right side.
So Swindell's ready, but he is not called into action by Bob Brenly. And ball one misses low to Chipper Jones. That's true without a doubt. Don Baylor, who was his hitting coach 3 years ago, now the manager of the Cubs, helped him hit the ball with more pop while batting right-handed. But they are running a risk with Morgan on the mound against Chipper Jones, a left-handed hitting Chipper Jones. And now the count's 2-0. If Jones should reach, Brian Jordan waits to hit next.
Now Mark Grace will be playing behind Julio Franco. It's not a bad move. The chances of Franco running remote with Jones up there, particularly in a hitting situation. 2-0. Count in his favor.
30 of Jones' 38 home runs came batting left-handed this season. Morgan knows that, and he hasn't given him anything to hit. The count's 3-0, but if you put him on, the Braves are just a base hit away from adding to the lead. One on, two out, and all four were way out of the zone. A hit, a walk with 2 out, and now Jordan will bat with 2 on, 2 out. Well, the Diamondbacks didn't use their bullpen yesterday. They had an off day on Monday. They'll have an off day tomorrow. Fatigue down there certainly isn't a factor. In fact, those guys probably want some action.
Sure.
But they're sticking with Morgan and now Brian Jordan, who is such a clutch hitter for the Atlanta Braves, especially down the stretch, is at the plate with 2 on, 2 out. Strike one.
Diamondbacks clinching on Sunday night at 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. Mike Morgan called Curt Schilling. At 4 a.m. he called Matt Williams. He wanted to celebrate and celebrate and celebrate. Nobody more happy for Mike Morgan than Schilling and Williams.
At 5:30 he delivered papers. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jordan. 12 teams in his career. Major league record since 1900. We told you it started with the A's, then the Yankees, Toronto, Seattle. You've heard all this. I'm not going to keep going through that.
12 teams.
12 teams. Diamondbacks are saying that is a record for all teams in professional sports. 12 different organizations. Mike Morgan holds that distinction. So with 2 on, 2 out, Bob Welch out to talk to Morgan. We'll remind you Friday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. It's game 3 of the National League Championship Series as the scene will shift to Atlanta, where Curt Schilling takes the hill for Arizona against John Burkett. Tom Brenneman and Steve Lyons will be along for that game. The road to the World Series continues Friday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. Tomorrow night, Yankees in Seattle again. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on Fox. 2 on, 2 out. Jordan hits it into left field. Gonzalez can't get there. In to score is Franco. Rounding third and scoring is Jones. More 2-out damage, and it's 5-1 Atlanta in the 8th. A 2-out, 2-run double by Brian Jordan.
Morgan is a sinker ball pitcher, and anytime he gets a ball above the waist, generally it's a mistake. That ball about belt high And Jordan, who had so many big hits for the Braves, down the stretch gets another one right here. A 2-out double after a 2-out home run by Lopez, and the Braves are pulling away.
It is time for an AT&T call to the bullpen as the Braves have opened it up 5-1 here in the 8th inning. The pitching change, it may be too late. 8th inning, and the Braves with a 4-run lead. Mike Morgan now watching as Greg Swindell, the left-hander, takes over to deal with B.J. Surhoff, the numbers for Swindell during the regular season, a former starter. Keep in mind the Diamondbacks are without one of their better setup relievers, right-hander Brett Prinz, who was diagnosed with shoulder tendonitis on September 1st. They may have him back for the World Series if they get there. They didn't have him for the Division Series. They don't have him for the LCS, and they miss him. Ball 1 low and away to Surhoff as Carsey now gets loose again. He had taken a seat, but now with a 4-run lead, the Braves no longer need to extend John Smoltz for more than an inning, and he takes a seat out in the Atlanta bullpen. Jordan at second with 2 out and a 1-ball 1-strike count. Prinz, it's Morgan in these late inning situations, and tonight ineffective as Surhoff fouls it away. Strike 2, and that caught a bit of the umpire Jeff Kellogg.
Looked like it hit Jeff on the left forearm. Yep, that had to hurt. Umpires with an inside protector, but no protection on the arms.
It was a courtesy. Damian Miller goes out to talk to Swindell to allow the pain to subside as much as it can, get feeling back in that left arm. And with a count of 1-2, Surhoff digs back in. Two and 2. Swindell trying to keep it 5-1. We're in the top of the 8th. Here's a 2-2. Surhoff hits one into deep right field. Back at the wall. It's gone. A 2-run home run. And it's 7-1 Atlanta here in the 8th. The Braves came into this game hitting only .256 as a team in the postseason. They've been relying on their pitching, which has been phenomenal. The Braves finally bust out of it here in the 7th and 8th innings and lead it by 6.
High slider from Swindell. It is amazing what that two-run home run by Javi Lopez did, and what a lift it gave the Braves hitters, and allowing them to relax.
So another home run. The 3rd of the night for the Atlanta Braves. It's time for an AT&T call to the bullpen. Morgan gone. Swindell gone. Another right-hander coming in the 8th for Arizona. Bobby Witt now takes over for Arizona. Good breaking ball for strike 1 on Andrew Jones. The numbers for Witt during the regular season: 4-1. See, 14 games. He made 7 starts.
B.J. Surhoff, a slider, I believe, right around the letters. Usually catchers don't catch those. Yep, slider.
Third appearance for Witt in a postseason game, first this year. And the count 1-2. A 4-run 8th inning with all of the action coming with 2 outs. Same for Atlanta with a 2-out walk to Andrew Jones and go-ahead home run by Javi Lopez last inning. And the one rally by Arizona, which produced a run tonight, also came with 2 out. A 1-2 pitch. Jones just got a piece to stay up there. So the Braves on their way to a victory if their bullpen can hang on to even this series at 1-1 heading back to Atlanta.
Joe, you see Andrew Jones kind of flexing that left wrist of his. There is such torque in that swing.
Into center field, another hit.
So much for a bad wrist.
Wrist looks sound and healthy on that swing. And now Javi Lopez, who has the go-ahead home run with 2 out last inning, is the 8th man to bat in the inning, will be the hitter.
Slider out over the plate.
Well, this is a weak spot for the Arizona Diamondbacks team.
Yep.
Their middle relief, even their setup relief, trying to get to their closer, Byung-Hun Kim. You've got Bobby Witt. You've got Mike Morgan, Greg Swindell, guys that have been around for a long time. Heck, all 3 of those are former starters. And they are trying to fill the role held by Brett Prinz, and a right-hander who did very well in that position for Bob Brentley this season. 1 on, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's look at Curt Schilling, the Game 3 starter for Arizona. Following an Arizona loss, made 19 starts. He was 15-1 with an ERA of 1.57. That includes the postseason. It includes Game 5 of the division series. 1-2 on Lopez.
With Schilling and Johnson, they are usually their own setup men. The Diamondbacks with 12 complete games this year. Johnson with 3, Schilling with 6. So Johnson and Schilling with 3/4 of the complete games thrown by the D-backs.
One ball, 2 strikes. Into center, another hit. That's 4 consecutive hits against 3 relievers, all over the age of 35 years old for Arizona.
But again, that 2-run home run by Javi Lopez really appeared to allow the Atlanta hitters to relax a little bit. Boy, they have come out here in the 8th and done some hammering.
Now the 9th man to bat in the inning, Ray Sanchez, who's hitless in this series, 0 for 6. 0 for 3 tonight, will bat with 2 on and 2 out. Now the Braves are going to lift Javi Lopez, get a pinch runner in there for him. Lopez will end the night 2 out of 4 with that 2-out home run, a 2-run shot in the 7th inning, which right now stands as the game-winning hit. Jason Marquis is going to come out of the bullpen and run as he did here yesterday. Into left field, Sanchez ahead. Gonzalez will come up throwing. Poor throw to the plate. Andrew Jones scores, and it's 8-1 Atlanta. So this 8th inning is ugly for the Diamondbacks.
It is so ugly that the pinch hitter who started the inning is going to be the batter now with 2 runners on. Another hanging slider by Witt. So Sanchez joins the hit parade, and Dave Martinez, who started it all as a pinch hitter, grounded out to second, has a chance to to make 2 outs in an inning.
Which I'm sure he's excited about.
You don't like to do that. But that means that the ball club, you're wearing the same uniform, has had a big inning, and they have.
Ball 1 from Witt. Entering today, that bullpen had been terrific for Bob Brenly. 9 innings, 2 runs allowed. Tonight, 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs allowed between Morgan, Swindell, and now Bobby Witt. (2-0). Witt has faced 3 hitters and allowed 3 singles. Runners on, Marquis and Ray Sanchez. Again, 7 of the 8 Atlanta runs tonight have come with 2 out. Martinez pops it up. Might stay in play. Long run, and Gonzalez is there to end the inning. So Dave Martinez does indeed make 2 outs in this top of the 8th. And in the end, I'm sure he could care less. Because in the big picture, the Braves have blown it wide open. They lead it 8-1 as we go to the bottom of the
8th. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan. Nissan introduces the totally new V6 Ultima, the cure for the common car. By the United States Air Force. And by Energizer. Do you have the bunny inside?
It's the new show everyone's been talking about, Tim. The best damn sports show, period. It's the new nightly show that features a comedian who's a diehard sports fan and a bunch of ex-jocks who really know the game. With sports comedy commentary and constantly updated scores, what more could you want from a show? Introducing the best damn sports show, period, weeknights at 7:30, 11:30 p.m. as well, only on Fox Sports Net.
Pretty darn good sports show here for 7 innings with Steve Carsey and Paul Bacco behind the plate.
First pitch is a strike to the right-handed hitting Jay Bell. Well, this Atlanta team took on a much different look. You think how they started the season with John Rocker as their closer. They traded him, got Carsey and Reed. They moved Carsey out of the closer spot when they put John Smoltz in as the late inning reliever. Here's Bobby Cox talking about that Atlanta bullpen.
I think our bullpen's probably stronger than it's ever been here in 10, 12 years, depth-wise. And I just have the feeling as a manager, and our team has that feeling too, that we can cover the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning more times than not and throw up goose eggs up there. And we've got a lot of guys that go the 1 inning and are strong, and they're capable of doing that. And we like our bullpen a lot. We have a lot of depth in it. And John Smoltz, when he became the closer, I think he brought that entire unit together out there.
Carsey's been better, at least numbers-wise, as a setup reliever. And Smoltz has been fantastic as the closer. In fact, might get an inning of work here tonight just to get an inning of work.
With an off day tomorrow, and the Braves and the Diamondbacks, next game being Friday night.
Most all-time career postseason victories for Bobby Cox. That pitch tailing back, but I guess too high. 2 balls and a strike. Smoltz, 12 out of 13 in save opportunities. An ERA of 1.66. 40 strikeouts to 5 walks.
Wow. 8-1.
Coming up on 8 o'clock here in Phoenix, Bank One Ballpark. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, our producer Michael Weissman, our director Bill Webb. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Diamondbacks, who got 9 terrific innings from Randy Johnson yesterday, got 7 very strong innings from Miguel Batista tonight, but he left on the hook for the loss, and the bullpen fell apart in the 8th inning. Morgan, Swindell, Bobby Witt. It's now 8-1. It was 1-1 going into the 7th inning. Last 7 runs have scored with 2 out for Atlanta. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Gonzalez. Sanders on deck. Gonzalez pops it out of play. Luis tonight hitless. Really hasn't done much in the postseason. He got an RBI hit in yesterday's game, but he is only 6 out of 26. By far their most dangerous and their most consistent hitter at the plate this season. .325 average, 57 home runs. And he strikes out here for the 2nd out in the 8th. So 2 out, nobody on. Reggie Sanders will be the hitter. And tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox, it's Game 2 of the American League Championship Series presented by the New York Stock Exchange. As the Yankees try to go up 2-0 before heading back to New York. It'll be Mike Messina taking the mound for the Yankees against Freddie Garcia, working on short rest. Last 8 starts for Messina. 6-0 with an ERA under 1. Game 2, American League Championship Series, tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. Sanders, strike 1. Freddie Garcia, who threw just over 80 pitches in his last start for Seattle in the division series against Cleveland, will work on only 3 days rest.
Yeah, Mike Messina is the Yankees' best pitcher right now, even though Roger Clemens had the best year. Roger with that mild hamstring pull. Messina has been lights out, as you said, recently.
So you have the 20-game winner in Clemens. See Byung-Hun Kim loosening in the bullpen. He may work the 9th. You've got Andy Pettit today. You've got Orlando Hernandez, who's 9-1 in his career in the postseason. And then Mike Messina, who has been virtually unhittable down the stretch for the Yankees. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sanders. That is a tremendous 1 through 4 in their starting rotation.
Orlando Hernandez will get the call on Saturday against the Mariners.
We will be there, and that will be a late afternoon start at Yankee Stadium. Now time called. Jamie Moyer will be the starter for Seattle. 20-game winner. These 2 teams will charter out of Phoenix tonight after the game. Yankee fan having fun here in Phoenix as Sanders strikes out. Good inning of relief work from Karsay. We go to the 9th. Braves will bat. They are in charge, trying to split the first 2 games of this NLCS here in Phoenix. They lead it 8-1. Byung-Hun Kim. He has not had a lot of work. In fact, when he has had work since the 1st of September, he has been not very sharp. 14 games, 15 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 5 home runs, 8 walks. When he doesn't get a lot of work, Bob Brenly told us that upshoot pitch that he has, where he comes way down from underneath and the ball seems to ride up as it gets to the plate, well, he can't control it. And he was not too impressive in the division series against St. Louis, but he persevered and got a save. And on the hands of Giles, strike 1. This will be a valuable inning, though, for Kim to get some work here in an 8-1 game.
Talk about someone who thrives on work, as Julio Franco is on deck. You folks have the rare opportunity to see a native Korean pitch against a gentleman who played in Korea 2 years ago, Julio Franco. How many times do you see that?
That one got away from Kim. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This guy's only 22 years old, and they are really excited about how good he looks already at this level. As as he misses high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Early in the season when he took over for the injured Manti, he was unhittable, but really struggled from the 1st of September on.
That's that upshoot you were talking about right there, Joe.
Giles strikes out, 1 away here in the 9th inning.
Fastball gets Giles. Here it is, history in the making. Franco against Kim. Julio playing in Samsung, Korea 2 years ago.
So the two may have said Anyang Hashimnika at some point.
What does that mean?
That means hello.
Oh, it does.
In years gone by, that's ball 1.
You went from Tigres yesterday.
That's right. To Anyang Hashimnika.
Yeah. Tigers to hello. Tigers in Spanish. Julio Franco playing with the Mexico City Tigres.
Did you know that he hit .437 with 18 home runs?
I certainly did.
Talk about a transaction that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Everybody expecting, well, it's only a matter of time before they get Galarraga back. If not Galarraga, somebody else. But they went the cheaper route, to be honest about it.
Sure.
Got Julio Franco, and he has really impressed Bobby Cox with the way he has swung the bat and played first base. 2 balls and a strike. Talked about it yesterday. There's no doubt a tighter budget that these Braves are working with. Remember when they picked up Fred McGriff and how they took off in the mid-90s, kind of a surge after that early impressive run starting in 91. Counsell to his left takes care of Julio Franco. 2 out, nobody on, with Chipper Jones coming up. If you look at this playoff tournament bracket system thing that we show now here in the 9th, you see the Yankees up 1-0 on Seattle after defeating Oakland. And over on the right side of the bracket, Atlanta, Arizona. Arizona leading 1-0, but it appears as if the 2 teams will be tied a game apiece with that matchup on Friday night, Schilling against Burkett. Chipper Jones, hard hit, but right at Bell. Good play. And a 1-2-3 inning for Kim. Bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Diamondbacks. Finley will start it. Arizona trails 8-1. John Smoltz takes over to get some work. An off day tomorrow. Friday's game 3 coming up. Tom Glavine, the starter, talks about watching his former rotation mate, John Smoltz, close games, and Smoltz gets the opportunity to close out this game. Glavine in line for the win. Here's Tom.
I do. I mean, I love it. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for us that he's been able to do that. You know, it's a testament to him and his willingness to do whatever he's got to do to number 1, be on the field, and number 2, help us win. It's been awesome, like I said, to watch. I think that those of us that have been around him have always felt like that was something he could do. I just don't know if we ever envisioned him doing it as well as he's doing it.
Tim, if John Smoltz struggles here in the 9th inning, then that will tell me that he really is a closer. Because in games like this, blowout games, a 7-run lead, closers typically struggle. 3 balls and a strike.
It will always also tell you that he needs the work if he struggles in a game like this.
He appeared in all 3 games in the division series, the sweep over Houston. Finley with a full count, 97 miles per hour. 2 saves in the 3 games. He closed out the 6-2 win in game 3 against Houston. 4 innings, 3 hits. And a free agent to be. Finley pops it up. Right at the plate, Baco. 1 out. Our Energizer play of the day is easily a 2-out, 2-run home run by Javi Lopez. 7th inning, game tied 1-1, not anymore. 3-1 in the 7th, 5-run 8th inning made it 8-1. That's what it is here in the 9th with 1 out, nobody on, and David DeLucci up to bat for Matt Williams.
Talking about John Smoltz, as a 19-year-old, came in a trade from the Detroit Tigers for Doyle Alexander. Braves at the time said, no Smoltz, no deal. Bobby Cox was the general manager. Doyle Alexander went 9-0 for the Tigers, helped them win the division. That was before the wild card. And then Detroit lost to Minnesota in the playoffs. Minnesota beating the Cardinals in the World Series that year, 1987. A money man.
Look what Smoltz has done since this run started in 1991 for the Braves. 12 wins. Again, with extra opportunities, with the extra tiers of the playoff system. That is #1 all time for postseason victories. 0-2 the count on DeLucci. DeLucci, one of the better left-handed pinch hitters in the league. This is really a good bench for Arizona with Coleman, DeLucci, and Durazo. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and for DeLucci, this is only his 3rd game and his first at bat. And there's a Rubio Durazo on deck. That'll get out of play.
One of the great World Series games ever. John Smoltz against Jack Morris. Game 7, 1991 World Series. Morris went 10 innings. A single by Gene Larkin won it for Minnesota. 1-0. But Smoltz, the starter in that game, he went 7 2/3.
DeLucci fouls it off to the right.
Lonnie Smith, the base running blunder in the 8th inning, going for the decoy by Chuck Knobloch. No, it was not Knobloch. I don't believe. Is that 91 is Knobloch's rookie season?
What a play by Smoltz. 2 out.
It was Knobloch. Go with your first instinct.
Always go with your first instinct.
Nice play by Smoltz. John Smoltz might be the best hitting stopper in the major league.
Well, the other guys never hit.
Right. John was a terrific hitter when he was in the starting rotation.
And someday, when he really gets serious, he'll do what his life's passion is, and that is play golf. He might be a senior tour guy at some point in his life.
Yep.
Durazo, strike 1. Arubio is getting only his 2nd at bat of this postseason. 2 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Schuerholz in the middle. Frank Wren, his top assistant. Foreground, Bill Bartholome in the distance. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Durazo and the Diamondbacks are down to their final strike. Bad back slowed down Durazo this season, but he hit .269. 12 home runs. That's it. Game over. And another easy 1-2-3 inning for John Smoltz. It's Tom Glavine, the winner here tonight. Miguel Batista, a strong start, but he gets the loss for Arizona. We'll take a break, come back, and talk about what's to come in this series and the ALCS in just a moment.
United Airlines postgame show is brought to you by the people of United Airlines. We are united.
It's an 8-1 final in game number 2. Atlanta evens the series at a game apiece. Glavine over Batista, catching a terrific game from Tom Glavine, Javi Lopez, and Javi joins us down on the field. I know you're proud of what you did behind the plate, but how good did that home run feel to put your team back out in front?
Well, especially after they tied the game in the 6th, I believe it was, we needed a little support, and what a better time for me to step up and help the team win by hitting a home run. I mean, it was unbelievable. And the feeling is, you know, not just playing.
Javi, this is Tim McCarver. It appeared that you went up and looked in an area and got the pitch in the area you were looking for.
Well, as soon as I stepped in the batting box, I was shooting for right field all the way. I mean, he was throwing me nothing but sliders and cutters away. And I figured that he would keep doing the same thing he'd been doing, you know, during the whole game. And in the first pitch around the plate, I was going to swing here hard as I can. Even though that pitch was about 3 inches up the plate, I was able to reach and hit it hard.
Javi, how's your ankle feeling?
Well, my ankle feeling great. I mean, ever since I got that new splinter, my ankle's feeling great.
Well, congratulations. A big home run and a big start tonight from Tom Glavine. I know you're happy with the way he threw the ball tonight.
Well, believe it, and I'm happy to contribute for his win.
All right, that's Javi Lopez. He got the big hit. The 2-out, 2-run home run that put the Atlanta Braves on top for good. Well, we talked about it coming in. The Braves desperately needing a win here tonight, facing Schilling on Friday, and they get it 8-1.
And they did what they normally do in postseason. They win the big games, maybe not in the World Series, but in the League Championship Series.
They turn to Tom Glavine, and Tom 7 strong, 1 run on 5 hits. That Atlanta pitching dominant in this postseason. They have now allowed a total of 9 runs in 5 games. For more information on tonight's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. So long from Phoenix. Tomorrow night on Fox, it's Game 2 of the American League Championship Series between the Yankees and Mariners, presented by the New York Stock Exchange. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You've been watching coverage of the Major League Baseball playoffs on Fox. Your home for the 2001 World Series. Good night.